Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Youthman. Today I'm in Kansas City hanging out with some new friends. As you can see, I'm not in my home theater, but I'm in my friend Doug's home theater. Now, Doug has an interesting setup. We're gonna go through his entire home theater, show you all the gear, hear more about his story, his journey into home theater. But Doug, you got something really cool upstairs that we're gonna show you later on in the video. Doug put two 18-inch subwoofers in the ceiling. It's going to be incredible. So make sure you wait till the end of the video and watch the entire video. I think you're really going to get some entertainment as well as just some really creative ideas of how you can incorporate stuff into even a living room setup. So Doug, thanks so much for, number one, just inviting me over to allow me to share your story, your beautiful home theater, your passion for home theater and music with my audience. And so maybe let's just kind of start off. How did you get into home theater?
All right. So love music my whole life. My parents love music. We sit around on Sundays and listen to music. And so it's always kind of been in my blood, my genes. And so I kind of got into the car audio stuff. Put a little system in the car when I was 16. Yeah.
Sure.
Not too crazy with it, but it was fun. And then it just kind of spiraled out of control from there. So really, I'm gonna say, I was telling you a little bit earlier about the subwoofer, finding the pinnacle of bass, and trying to find something that I wasn't gonna destroy.
Yeah.
After replacing 3 different 15-inch subs,
Sure.
I had to start looking for a better way to make a loud bass without spending more money.
Yeah.
So that's where the Yaller horn thing came from.
Sure. So one thing you're going to find out about Doug's setup is a lot of this, and I'm sure you're going to go into it more elaborate, but a lot of this was either used or DIY. And so those of you looking to save some money in your build out, I think Doug's going to provide some really, really great ideas for you in your home theater. And so let's kind of talk through even kind of non-home theater. When we walk in, you greeted us. As soon as I came in, I looked to the left, I see this massive aquarium in your living room, and then we come down to your theater, and then guess what? We've got another aquarium here. So kind of tell me about your fascination for aquatic life, or how did that start, and what's the interest there?
Well, kind of like the home theater stuff, started out small and then spiraled out of control. It was a 20-gallon saltwater tank my sister had for, I think, a high school or junior high project, and it just always stayed. Somebody just always had it, kept it going. And then I got a couple of corals, then I got some nicer lights, and then I got more, and then I figured out it was expensive, so why not grow some corals and sell them to the local fish shops, and before you know it, selling them on the internet, and it pays for itself. So it's a really fun hobby. It's very rewarding, and it's very relaxing to sit back, kick back when I get off work in the morning with a cup of coffee and watch fish swim around and listen to some tunes.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's so
it's
cool.
fun.
It's interesting how that parallels with the home theater journey, is that oftentimes we start off with something small and kind of dabble in it a little bit more, and we get kind of bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just kind of goes from there and grows from there. So of course I'm extremely jealous of these guys up in Kansas City. We're actually up here doing 9 home theater tours over the next 4 days. And so make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be doing these as quickly as I can once I get back to Florida, getting these out to you. But I'm seeing some crazy setups here. And like I said, as you're going to see, there's some creative ways that Doug has implemented in his home theater that definitely can save some money. So, but your home theater, where I'm really, really jealous, definitely, is you have this beautiful basement area down here. You know, in Florida, speaking of aquariums, we don't have basements in Florida. If we did, it would be an aquarium, because we've got, our aquifer is so high that we just can't dig down deep enough. So nobody's got a basement in Florida, but you've got this beautiful space. So kind of tell us the size of the room so that you guys can kind of visualize what space we're working in.
Okay, so this room started out, actually the whole basement was wide open. Okay. There was a bathroom back there. We just needed more space. So for years, my wife really wanted to do something down here. I really wanted a theater, but everything's expensive.
Yeah.
I do some construction on the side. So as soon as we rounded up some funds, kind of started working on it. The screen is 140 inches and change, foot on either side. And then, so the whole entire room is about 16 feet.
Okay.
We're 18 feet front to back. Behind the screen, there's 36 inches. We've got my daughter's bedroom is back over there. We've got the bathroom in the back, a couple of random closets. Then the garage over there back behind the screen. And then the guts of the fish room, the sump room is back in the corner, which is a mess.
Yeah, we won't take you back there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's cool.
One thing that I can super appreciate, because I'm not super handy, you guys know that, but you pretty much constructed all this.
I did.
You put this all together. And anytime that I can look at the architecture and I can see, and we're going to talk about all this, and because I got a lot of questions, but just knowing that your hand was the one that made this happen is truly inspiring to me. And I know a lot of you guys, you are handy, and so you may see something in this room and go, man, I would love to put that in my home theater. And that's what I really enjoy doing with these home theater tours. So kind of looking at the room, it's really spacious. We've got one row of seating, and then back here we've got, is that like a granite top or?
This is poured concrete.
Okay.
So I made a form on the ground out of melamine and formed it up and rented a concrete mixer and used a concrete mix.
That's awesome.
And poured that baby up. Had some buddies from work come over and help me lift it on there.
Oh,
I want to say each one of them weighs about 700 pounds.
Sure.
Yeah. And then underneath here is a sealed sub holding 2 stereo integrity HS24s. So,
Guys,
they're big ones.
I want to talk about that, definitely. So I tell you, we'll come back to that. We'll hit the core, but we're definitely coming back to that. Yep. That is incredible, and I'll share with you my experience too. So, beautiful room. I'm looking at a very wide screen. You said, how big is it?
I believe 142.
Okay, yep. 142, just wide?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've got a Cinescope screen. So is it 2.35?
Yes.
Okay, so 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio. So it's got that really wide, very immersive. And I love that because I'm 150 inches diagonal and I'm sitting 9 feet. So I like that really nice immersive feeling. And I love that about your home theater right here. Looking at the front of that screen, I noticed it's like just completely blacked out. What'd you use there?
That is just Speaker Grill fabric.
Okay.
I think I just got off of Parts Express.
Cool.
Just ordered it, and it's nice and stretchy. I'd like to swap that out with some velvet.
Okay.
Just haven't got around to it.
Yeah,
it's
one of those projects.
Super low on the list. I mean, and this room's just a constantly progress piece. So it's never completely finished.
Sure.
And like I was telling you earlier, it was just a few days ago, finally got around to installing the LEDs and up in the
I'm glad
ceiling.
you did.
And then found that I didn't properly run a couple of the wires, so there's no light up there. So that'll be.
I didn't notice.
Don't look.
I didn't
you
notice.
Won't see it.
I won't. I won't. But looking at that is so cool. So we've got these awesome architectural beams up here. And then we've got, of course, we'll talk about the speakers in a minute. But you got this beautiful ambient light. Now, is that controlled with like manually, or are we doing that through Amazon or Google or something? Or
well, the idea was to get one of those switches.
Okay.
Wasn't quite sure. Bought one.
Okay.
Hooked it up, and it did not dim.
Okay.
Stated on the package.
Gotcha.
Or the cheap.
So the lighting that you bought is not dimmable.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be.
Oh, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna try another switch, and hopefully it'll dim.
Cool.
But then I'll do Amazon or whatever, the Alexa or something like that. Something easy.
It gives it a cool vibe, man. I
Yeah.
love the design and the architecture.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's probably good even for acoustics because it kind of breaks up that pattern. It's not just a hard ceiling, a hard surface. So that's cool. We look over to the left and I see this gorgeous fireplace. Now, of course, in Florida, we don't have many fireplaces because it
Probably
doesn't
not.
get quite cool.
Yeah.
But up here, even coming up here, I didn't bring a jacket. I just have some shirts, and all right, guys, don't knock me, but I'm wearing the same shirt for 3 of these. One of the guys was supposed to bring a change of clothes, and he brings me an undershirt because I spent the night at somebody else's house last night. But anyway,
A little
don't-
stinky in here.
So no, I'm good, but don't judge me. I've got a clean undershirt on me, but I'm looking at this beautiful fireplace. So kind of tell us the story behind that. Why did you choose to put a fireplace down here, and And of course, I'm assuming you built it.
Well, the fireplace was here. It had a hearth on it that stuck out about that far.
Okay.
Made out of brick. It's a brick veneer on the outside of it, which I covered in the stone. So just kind of sat down here with a angle grinder and cut and installed that. It was super easy because there's a panel or a post on each side, so I didn't have to mess with the cuts on the end. So it made it a little bit cheaper that way too, because the edge pieces are more expensive.
Sure.
Eventually, I'd like to put some gas logs in there, and it's set up for the gas logs.
Okay.
But it doesn't get too chilly down here.
Yeah.
It's the coolest room in the summer,
Sure.
and it just stays pretty warm in the winter.
Right.
But it would just be kind of nice.
Oh yeah.
So we've got this diffusion also built in over there. So I thought that would be nice.
Yeah. So you didn't have to add acoustic treatment there. Kind of acts as the first reflection point because it absorbs or diffuses that.
Yeah.
Super cool there, and you've got these columns on one side, I guess. So of course you built that. Now, what is this black panel right here? Is that a acoustic panel?
This guy right here, that's my side surround.
Okay.
So we've got these ones in the back. That's another part of the future plan, is to build some cabinetry back there where that speaker's sitting on the counter.
Okay.
So it'll be hidden as well. I really like to hide stuff. I don't really like to see gear, with the exception of the mains.
Yeah.
If that's where they look good
Okay.
and sound good, then that's where they go. These mains were behind the screen. There's 3 feet behind the screen. But the bass wasn't where I needed it.
Gotcha.
So was able to move the subs a little bit closer to the walls and kind of work with that corner loading. It really helped out a lot.
Awesome.
So another point down here, a big obstacle we had to overcome was these posts.
Gotcha.
There's,
yeah, because that's structural, right?
Yeah, there's a steel beam that runs through there.
Gotcha.
That post used to be about where you're sitting, so I had to cut out a hole in the concrete and dig down 3 feet.
Wow.
And pour a footing, and then add a post here.
Okay.
And then do the same over there, and then I was able to scoot that post over.
Gotcha.
Paid a structural engineer for
Smart.
the okay on that.
That's
one.
not something you want to DIY.
Yeah.
And go in the next thing, your living room's in your basement.
We don't want that.
No.
Be super heavy. But it's nice. It's a good feature for upstairs. For the media room, there's a suspended floor, and it's great for the bass.
Cool. Very cool. So we mentioned speakers, so let's kind of talk through that part of it. Tell us what you got, floor level, Atmos speakers, and what you got.
Yep. Okay. So for the front stage, LCR, we've got the JTR speakers, 210 RTs, the reference series or Neosis, and they're the best speakers I've ever heard, and I love them. I've heard many more $1,000 of cost of speakers, and they just not what I like. My advice would be for before you buy any speaker, just try out as many as you can.
Absolutely.
Then
Find out what your ears like.
Yeah. When I heard these up at a get together in Iowa, I heard them and fell in love. Yeah. And it took me a year to be able to get them, but finally did.
So it's something you saved up for. It wasn't like, you don't, I'm guessing you're probably like me, you don't have an unlimited budget.
No.
We try to figure out a way, how can we get what we want? And I've always tried to encourage people, try to just get what you want. Because what I found is if I skimp or cut corners and get what I don't really want, I end up getting what I want later, but I lose money on the deal. Because I have to sell it, I lose money. Then I end up buying, and you just end up wasting time. So sometimes it's better, enjoy what you have. If there's something that you want that's a little bit higher budget, just save up for it. Sell some stuff in your stinking garage. Make some money or pull a little side hustle, deliver some pizzas, do whatever. And then save up and get what you want. But those are fantastic sounding speakers.
Love them.
Absolutely. And so in the middle, what do you got as far as the center? So it's 3 identical LCR.
Yep, that one's behind.
Okay.
They have a great wide sound stage. I prefer the mid-woofer to be paper, which is my preference. Okay. Super high dollar dual, what are they? Compression drivers.
Coaxial drivers.
Coaxial. So it's the mid and the tweeter is in that. So super nice piece in that. And then Jeff does a great job with his crossovers, and they're just a wonderful speaker.
Very cool.
And they're loud enough. I mean, you don't need to have a sub, but you know I like bass. So.
And we're gonna get to bass, and he's got plenty of it.
Yeah.
So we've got front 3 speakers, and then so you're saying you want to add, or are there speakers back there?
They are there. These are Radion 5210 coaxials, designed by fellow hobbyists.
Right.
Did the crossovers, and he just gave me the schematic, and built the crossover and just put them together. And
oh, we get a sneak peek. Check this out.
So
nice.
not too fancy.
Yeah.
I mean, but
super clean.
Man, they sound great. I really like them. Yeah. So I did have all of the speakers, including the LCR, were those until I got the 210s.
Gotcha.
So, and like you said, sold those to kind of fund the center channel.
Sure.
And then in the back, we have 2 more, and those will be in the walls.
Okay.
Eventually, another project list.
Sure.
And then the 4 Atmos overhead.
So is that the same as these, or smaller?
Yep.
Or
Those are all the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
Eventually, there will be fabric panels up top, and I'll just need to do some measuring and decide which ones are going to get some insulation or 703 or something in them. Sure. And the ones over the speakers will just be nothing in them. And I'll just use that same speaker cloth that I have up front. Found some gray stuff that kind of matches the walls. Behind here is the 2 24-inch subs.
Yes, let's check that out.
Kind of a cool story with that. The owner of Stereo Integrity was doing a raffle. I believe his sister was doing a fundraiser for MS.
Okay.
For the bike ride.
Right.
So just happened to be reading through the thread and bought several of his subs. And,
nice.
And super nice guy. So I got on there and just donated a little bit of money. And,
sure.
And
he
said,
you won both of them?
He said you would put your name in for a raffle. Didn't even forgot about it. Completely forgot.
No.
My phone rings and it's from South Carolina, I think, or wherever he's from. He's like,
this
I was like, I know one person from there, and picked it up. Or wait, no, somebody called me because there was a YouTube. He put all the numbers on a woofer.
I gotcha.
And turned on a 10 hertz tone and bounced it around, and the one that stayed was the one that won. That's what it was.
Awesome. That's super creative.
So somebody told me about the YouTube, and it was me. Called him and said, "Yeah, you won it."
No stinking way.
You know me, I like things in twos.
Yeah. So you gotta buy another one.
So he gave me a smoking deal on the other one.
Cool.
And built them both for me, and that's how I got those.
So you've got 2
awesome
24-inch, and guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. So one of them is, I think one of your amps isn't quite working right now.
Yeah.
And that's normal. We have that happen in our setups. But this is the hot seat, and I mean the hot seat. I was kind of joking, but I was kind of serious. I was like, Doug, I need to make a phone call. I got to call my chiropractor to cancel my appointment because it loosens you up, man. But it's a cool experience. It's super deep. Do you know what they measure down to? I'm not familiar with them.
They'll go as low. I put a
single digits.
Yeah, I put a limiter down at 5 hertz. I just don't.
So yeah, we're hitting stupid numbers.
They get moving pretty good. I'm feeding them a lot more power and just don't crank it up all the way. I want to make sure that I'm not going to clip them.
A lot of headroom. That's always a good idea, guys, to have more power than your speakers need. I mean, you don't need to go crazy, but a lot of times I try to recommend, if it's rated for 200 watts, if you can get a 400 watt, that's great. Doesn't mean you got to crank it wide open. Just means that you don't have to run into its maximum capacity and run into clipping and distortion and things like that. Now we talked about your near field subwoofers. So these are subwoofers that sit really close, like right behind your main listening position. Yep. But you also got some more subwoofers in here. Tell us about that.
All right. So behind the screen, I have 2 odd horns, which are a DIY horn designed by Josh Rickey.
Okay.
He's the owner of Database, does really good reviews
and measurements
and honest measurements of speakers. So he designs these awesome horns. Have some his designs upstairs too, the Yaller horns.
Yeah, we're gonna see those.
Yeah.
Hang tight.
So those are these back here. The odd horns are 2 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, and have a 21-inch B&C sub in them. And they go from 24 hertz up to 80, crossing over all the speakers at 80, including the overheads and the surrounds. And then the subs back here, the 24s, those go up to 30 hertz, or 40 hertz actually.
Gotcha.
So kind of start rolling those off early at 30, so they blend in really, really nicely.
Sweet.
So and the idea with near fields is you want to be you want the center of your body to be within the distance of the size of the speaker. So for the 24s, you got to be within 24 inches of the sub.
Interesting. I didn't know
For
that.
near field, yes.
So near field, the size of the woofer, that's the distance you want to be from it.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's good to know. So if you're building one, you got some measurements.
Yeah.
So now you mentioned folded horn. That's not something common that a lot of people are familiar with. I know I was looking at doing a folded horn when I first built my theater room, but typically they're a lot larger. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're pretty big. They're pretty big. But it's, I mean, just like think of it like as a horn, it's louder than it would be by itself. So you're getting the sound from the front and from the back of the speaker.
So the sound emanates coming out the front, and then that back wave
goes through the horn.
And I think you mentioned to me those are time aligned, so they come out the same exact time. Very cool.
Yeah.
So there's no cancellation there, and it just, man.
And to get the same out of a ported, I believe it'd have to be a lot bigger.
So even a bigger box. Yeah. And I think if my understanding is correct, with a folded horn, and hopefully we'll have some pictures or something you can kind of visualize what that looks like, is bass waves are typically longer, especially I think the longer or the lower the frequency. And so a lot of times you need that long distance to reach you to kind of get that maximum impact. And so I think, and maybe I'm thinking of a tapped horn. I know there's tapped horn, there's folded horns. So maybe I'm thinking of that differently, but it basically follows this path and then it kind of comes out. And so it's just definitely a different way, but that's a great way to save some money. If you're handy and you can build something, if somebody was looking at doing a tapped horn, are there some resources that they can find? I'm sure like AVS Forum or...
AVS, yes. There's a program called Horns Rep, I believe. Did not try my hand at it. It's very difficult to make them. There's several people that have...
A lot of hard cuts probably.
They're hard cuts, and I mean, just sitting down and getting it to work right acoustically.
Okay.
So people will design it, build it, scrap it, build it, and so on. And so Ricky's done a really good job with these couple, and I know several people have kind of followed suit and made their own. Little Mike has done some.
Yeah, I've heard of Little Mike. Yeah,
yep, he's a fun
I was looking
guy.
to build one of those.
Yep. So,
but I can't build crap, so I'm
like
I just got to buy them.
I know. Yeah, sometimes. Well, and a lot of times it's not that much cheaper than what you can buy off the shelf.
And to me, the time. I mean, I'm not good at it, so I'm going to spend a ton of time. So if you're handy, DIY is an excellent way to go. It's going to save you a lot of money, get some great bang for your buck, and a lot of times even get more performance than sometimes even commercial subs. But I'll be honest, but what's cool is we listen to a lot of movies I'm familiar with, the John Wick 3, shotgun scene, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Kick you in your chest, you feel it all through your body. But music sounds phenomenal in here too. Just great clarity, great imaging. Definitely really, really appreciate that. And I've always loved the horn sound. Some people think they're too bright or too detailed, and they may want a more laid back. And that's why it's so important that you guys listen to as many different types of speakers to find out what your ears and what your preference is. But I've always loved the horn. That's why I've owned so many clipped speakers over the years. Yeah. And JTR just to me has kind of taken that to a whole new level.
Yeah, different league.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. But I've enjoyed that sound, and you have too. And but you've just created a beautiful bed layer, and then the Atmos ties it all in with the atmospheric. But music and movies, man, it's incredible. It's a fun trip. But we're talking about subwoofers, and I was back here a little bit earlier, and you don't usually see like just a random 15-inch subwoofer sitting on a counter. So I know there's got to be a story.
Yeah, I got that out for you special.
Okay.
You're asking where the home theater stuff started, and then the quest for the ultimate bass. And well, let me show you.
All right, let's take a look at it.
All right, so this is where it all began. So when we bought this house about 13, 14 years ago, 1975 home, never been remodeled.
Right.
Good shape. But so we started doing some stuff, and one of the first things was got our TV in the living room, decided I wanted some better bass. So got on the forum, started looking, figured out how to build a sub, got us a receiver. Actually, I was using a 20-year-old Nakamichi AVR that was passed down from my dad.
Nice.
So I found this Creative Sound Solutions SDX15.
Okay.
It said best bang for your buck sub at the time. There's
Sure.
always one out there. I couldn't get a hold of the Sound Splinter subs.
Okay.
So this was my next bet. So built 2 of these, loved it, great bass. Started having too much fun. I'd fry a driver.
No.
So
So you blew it.
yep, blow it.
Okay.
So I get send it back, have it reconed.
Right.
I'd blow the other one. And then that lasted for a while, and then finally happened again. So I started searching again, and what did I find but the Yaller horn.
Okay.
So that has a TC Sounds LMS 18 in it.
Okay.
One of my favorite subs ever, and it's nearly indestructible. You can give it as much power as you can afford, and that thing just goes and goes and goes. So I built one of those horns,
Right.
and then built another one,
Right.
and then the remodel happened, and then it just took off from there.
Nice. So we're going to see the Yaller horn.
Yes.
So the Yaller horn, we're going to see that upstairs in just a
Yeah.
few moments. I definitely am excited to share with you about that. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So everybody's got a story, and it's kind of interesting hearing kind of how you got into home theater and even some of the, okay, well, that didn't work out. So we find something that does meet our needs. So let's kind of talk about maybe your rack over here. So let's take a look.
Oh, here's the little rack area. Up here we've got the Epson 5040. Nice bright projector. We spent a lot of times down here just chilling. My daughter likes to have people over watching movies. They leave the lights on. With this projector, you get a nice clear image with the lights on. Not the darkest, but it's also not very expensive. I bought it refurbed. So again, I think it was only about $1,000. So for the price, it's pretty nice.
Nice.
In here we've got the rack. Also, always a work in progress. I've never finished the back, so I don't look at that part. Got the NAD 758. It has Dirac Live. You can upgrade to the full version with that, which I did, and it's great. So my passion is music, mostly. So it just, as Michael was saying, it really makes a nice sound stage. Does a good job with it. A little quirky, the NAD it is. So this is the second unit they sent me, and finally I got a good one. Got the old school Behringer amp, got the crown here. This runs the mains. And then the Lab Group and Clone FP 14,000 amps. This one's DOA, gave up the ghost a while back. This one has 1 channel left, and this one's still going. So
we might see some upgrades in the future here.
Maybe, yep. So I'm gonna start that GoFundMe, link at the bottom. Got the PC down at the bottom. So it's a home theater PC, and we really just don't use the home theater PC that much anymore. We watch a lot of Netflix, do movies with a Blu-ray player. We've got the Oppo 203.
Nice.
Awesome piece. Too bad they don't make them anymore.
I
it's
know.
just so nice. And it'll play anything.
Yep.
There's an Xbox One X up top. That's what we're doing our HBO Max and Netflix and Hulu and Vudu and all that stuff through there. So for us, we just like to keep it easy, and it's super easy with that gaming system remote to get through what we want. And then again, my daughter likes to play games and stuff on there with her buddies that come over. And that's about it. I'm not going to show you behind it because, well, I could, but it would be what to not do. But I'm constantly changing stuff and going in and moving things around in there. So it's kind of hard to keep it tidy. So it's not one of those things that I do. So there we have it with the rack. But yeah, this would like to be a nice PowerSoft amp down here, or a couple. So I don't see that happen until one of these is completely dead. And honestly, one 24-inch sub near field does the trick pretty well.
Plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty of bass.
Yeah. Also want to add a little bit about the soundproofing, or the lack of soundproofing in here. So when we started the theater down here, I really wanted to do an all-enclosed theater with stadium seating and you know, build it in, make it look great. But it just is not enough space for all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So kind of worked with some issues with the stairwell, trying to figure out how I was going to be able to soundproof that, isolate it down here. And then we have a bedroom. Then I just realized, you know what? Let's be realistic. It's not going to keep the sound down here with having enough room and making a nice usable space where we just hang out here and relax and have some friends over. And,
Because pretty much to do that, you got to kind of build a room inside a room, so it makes your room smaller.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So the more I looked at it, I was like going to do the double drywall, hat and channel, and then, well, we'll just do that, but leave the stairwell open, and it's going to keep it in here, but its sound's still going to get out.
Yeah.
So why go through all of that effort for very little benefit and a lot of extra cost, a lot of money. So, but one thing that I did do is I did do 5/8" drywall with 2 layers of green glue in between the ceiling joists.
Cool.
Which is a massive pain to do with all the wiring and the plumbing and stuff up there. But I did some measurements before and after, and it was a big difference.
Cool.
And then upstairs with all the bass up there, all the bass down here. Sometimes we have a little battle going on, and
see who
it's just what happens. We should go check it out.
I think we should. Let's head upstairs. Let's check out his incredible, really another home theater in his living room with some really unique subwoofers. Let's check it out.
Okay.
Hey guys, how are y'all? Got some cool dogs here too, man.
Oh, thanks.
They want to be in the video.
Yeah, these are my dogs.
What's their names?
Yeah, that's Sabina. This is Daisy.
Nice.
Hey guys, having fun?
All right, so what do we have? So this is your main living room. We got kitchen over here.
Yep.
And beautiful fireplace back here, but you got a pretty killer home theater in here too. So what do we got going on?
So we built this one about 6 years ago. This was, like I said, our house built in 1975, hadn't been touched. This thing was covered in paneling with the big beams going across the top.
Yeah.
No soffit or anything in here. Wall over here. Took the wall out, put the nice big island in.
Sure.
Request from my wife was, I don't want to see giant subs everywhere. So
I guess, I know you guys probably can relate. I can.
Yeah.
My wife's like, no,
Yeah.
we're not doing that.
yeah, none subs.
So I'm looking around. I don't see any subwoofers. So where are these things hiding?
So we stuck them in the ceiling. So
Check this out.
Yep, so up there we have the 32 cubic feet each of front-loaded tapped horns.
Okay.
Those are the Yaller horns.
Yaller horns.
They have 18-inch drivers in them, and they absolutely pound. So they're some
dual
nice,
18s in a living room setup. WAF factor, wife acceptance factor, man, is off the chart because they're out of the room basically. And this room pounds.
Yeah, it's on a suspended floor, so you get that extra tactile feel.
Yes.
I had when I got the first 24, I had it over there sitting in the corner in a big white box I made. My wife called it a washing machine because it looked like a washing machine.
Yeah, it's huge.
And that thing would put ripples on this floor, and it was wonderful, but it just not doable.
Yeah.
It was the first rule of a home theater club is you can't have the big subs in the room.
Yeah, sure. So like, I mean, what gave you even the mindset of, man, I think I need to put this in my attic?
Yeah.
Like, who does that? I mean, I know DIY guys do, but like,
Yeah.
where did that come from? I mean, did you ever see anybody that did that?
Well, there's infinite baffle subs, so
Sure.
that was a recommendation, but it just doesn't, and infinite baffle people like to argue about it, I know.
Yeah.
But it's just not the same amount of bass.
Yeah, I got you.
So with these, I have the most amount of bass possible. I'm not going to break any subs this way because these things are basically indestructible.
Sure.
And they work great up there. I did about 300 different measurements, sliding the subs back and forth.
Really?
Also designed it with Win ISD.
Okay.
Figure out with an REW in the room simulator to figure out where it was close. And it was pretty close.
Sure.
But moving back and forth to different measurements from 2 different areas in the room. And it literally took all day and about 150 trips up and down the ladder going up in here. So
and a nice heavy winch. I heard about that, right?
Yeah. I made a sled
Nice.
to get the subs up there.
Because how much do they weigh? Just the sub. Well, I guess
I want to say they're about 400 pounds.
Did you construct it up there?
No,
or?
they're constructed.
Okay, and then you brought it up. So
Yeah.
they're how about 400 pounds?
Yeah, with the driver in there. I think the driver, if I remember right, weighs about 100 pounds. So there's a lot. There's with the horn path. There's a lot of wood in there.
Yeah.
3/4 inch Baltic birch.
Sure.
You know, they're very solid.
Super stiff, man. But
Yeah.
incredible response in this room. And then we've got speakers up in. Is this called a soffit? So that's where I'm not
Yep.
super handy. So we've got one,
Yep.
2 there, 2 on the sides, and 2 on the rear.
Yep.
Are those DIY subs?
Those are DIY Sound Group. They're the Volt 8s, and they're ported.
Gotcha.
So there's a box in each one of those. They don't come off very easily. So
Yeah, nice.
I'm not going to show you.
Yeah, no, you can see them.
So up above here, these are actual metal and wood frame soffits.
Okay.
They're open on the top and stuffed with fiberglass. Cool. So we get a little sound treatment there. And then the same with the cloud at the top is open.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So that's open up
and
there.
And you put your ceiling fan through the cloud. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So he's got acoustic treatment up here. You can't even tell that it's acoustic treatment. That's beautiful. Check that out. And so then I don't even want to say the main event because that's like a main event. This is a main event, but tell me about these beautiful speakers. These are cool.
So these speakers are, I made SDX 15 subs in the bottom. I haven't ruined those yet, but I also don't listen to these very loud. They typically aren't even on unless I'm just having some Sunday morning coffee and the girls are sleeping.
Yeah, just kind of some ambience while everybody's kind of chilling or
I just want a little bit of bass.
Yeah.
Yep. Acoustic Elegance TD12s in there, and then the Denovo compression driver and the Seos horn. Constructed out of MDF and Baltic birch. The sub is sealed, and then the main part of the speaker is ported. I cross these over at 80 hertz.
Okay.
Same with center channel, and they have a nice finish on them. Bonded them all up and sanded them. Did a whole bunch of different layers of polyester primer, automotive type finishes, and then the Mercedes gold flake or micro flake.
They look gorgeous, man, and the finish on this. I mean, think about this. He did all this, and like I said, I can admire just the craftsmanship and the time and detail and the amount of hours that you must have invested in that.
It took a lot of time.
Super cool. So we've even got acoustic treatment up on the front wall.
Yeah, they help a little bit with the reflection up front and kind of the voicing kind of had a little bit of a hollow sound without them there, so they worked out pretty nice. It was just
and it's really a relatively an acoustic panel here.
Acoustic panel there, yep.
Nice. So this room isn't very. I mean, it's not real lively, so that's great. That's going to help with that imaging, just the clarity and dialogue. Again, beautiful fireplace in the back. Thank you. And then a really nice little rack up here. So what's in the rack here?
So the rack here used to have more stuff in it and just keeps kind of getting smaller as my amps continue to fail. In here we have the Lab Group and Clone FP 14,000 for the G horns, and then the iNuke for the 15s on the bottom of the mains. Okay. And this is just kind of a get me by Yamaha AVR right now. The one that I want, the Onkyo with Dirac is unobtainable currently. Okay. So maybe sometime in the future. I really enjoy what Dirac does with.
And you mentioned you really like the sound of the Onkyo that you had previously. Yeah. So kind of wants to go back again, just finding what sound works best for you, what you enjoy the best. And so the Yamaha sounded great in here, but you said it kind of, I think you said it made them sound a little flat.
I feel like it does, but I haven't messed with it enough to give a solid opinion on it. Other now it's okay, and it's better than not having anything.
Well, and the key is you got to find something that works best for you, but you enjoy what you have while you have it. If you want something better, you save up, you invest, and then you go from there. And so then we've got a couple more things up top, I think, or did you cover those two?
This is just the power center, surge protector. And then this amp was left over from powering the tops here. Gotcha. But the new AVR does have extra 2-channel amp in it. So
nice. And I like
no need for that.
Is it like a tempered glass? I see it's really, really dark.
Yeah, this is a tempered glass, smoked glass. I ordered this off the internet actually, and the hinges, and wasn't too expensive, and just built this into the wall. The stairs are under there, so it's kind of the perfect amount of space. And then behind it is the access, also pretty messy, but kind of cool hidden door with a mirror. And so I can get in there easily and store stuff for the fish tank in there too. Nice.
And then TV, what do we got here?
Vizio, I don't even know what it is. It's it makes a picture.
Yeah, so
it gets us by. Nothing fancy.
This is just kind of the ambiance, but some cool. Now, I'm assuming, did your theater kind of start here?
It did.
And then you added bigger and more. Okay.
This is what we, the room needed to be remodeled. Gotcha. It was time. We do 1 room per year or expensive projects every other year. Sure. So it was this year's turn. Yeah. So that's kind of how that started, and I just wanted to get the most best amount of sound possible with the least amount of gear sticking out. So
awesome.
I like to see the mains, and that's it. Everything else is pretty well tucked away.
Yeah. Well, Doug, thanks so much for inviting us into your beautiful home, sharing your incredible home theater, both downstairs and upstairs. And I hope you guys have just kind of got some inspiration on maybe some things that you can do in your own home theater, some ideas, whether it's acoustic-wise or doing some tapped horns, folded horns, DIY, saving some money. But hopefully these videos are inspirational to you. Again, I've got 9 of these videos that I'll be doing from this Kansas City home theater tours. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll post a playlist at the end of this video, as well as in the description below. And I'll also include a link to, you've got like a build thread of kind of his journey. So if you want to check that out, check the link in the description, as well as the Kansas City group in the AVS forum. So guys, hope you enjoyed the content. God bless, and we'll catch you in the next video.